You'll be pleased to know that controversially, I don't have much reading on my slides, and I am not presenting you with some earth-shatteringly new information. I'm assuming that you are all here because you agree that knowledge sharing is power, and you appreciate the value you can get from sharing knowledge and being part of a community of practice and learning from one another. So, with that in mind, I'm going to be talking a bit about the cross-sectoral communities of practice that CILIP can offer you, the value of collaboration and how you can get the most out of that, some top tips for collaborating well, and a little bit about the resources, training, and development opportunities that CILIP offers. Hopefully you all know vaguely who CILIP are. I'm seeing silence. I'm going to take that as assent. And start by telling you a little bit about myself. I have been with CILIP for about 18 months now. Before I worked for the Chartered Institute of Library and Information Professionals, I was with Sue Hill and TFPL Recruitment, recruiters to the library and information sector for 6 years. So this is a community, this is a sector that I feel that I know very well, although I'm not a qualified librarian. And I would say that this is a community, it's a sector that's really good at knowledge sharing. They're very collaborative. Everybody I know in it is very friendly and always willing to share information and help each other out. So this is a little case study in collaboration, how you might do it, why you would do it, and what you can achieve with it. So my colleague, Jo, built a good relationship with a woman called Christine Loves-Rogers at the University of Edinburgh. Now, Christine was considering her options for mid-career professional development for herself, and an article in our members' magazine prompted her to think about doing fellowship with CILIP. The University of Edinburgh has over 14,000 staff, of whom 708 are in the Library and Information Services group, which is sort of a group of library, IT and e-learning services. So Christine kind of thought, I expect there's somebody else here who may be doing professional development who could probably help me out, offer me some advice. Now, weirdly, she asked around the university, it seemed kind of hard to turf up these people. They were hiding. The university also offers a CILIP-validated postgraduate course in library and information science. In book history and material culture. So why couldn't she find anyone else at her organisation that was developing themselves with CILIP? So she came to us and said, are there any other CILIP members up here? And we said yes. So with our support, Christine put forward a plan to the senior management team at the University of Edinburgh, linking the benefits of CILIP membership, professional registration and professional development with the university's strategic aims and HR policies. They said that sounds amazing. So Christine set about building a local support network for people who were undertaking professional registration at her university. She's run workshops, coffee meetups, has made invaluable connections, not just within CILIP, the people she's worked with who work there, who work with her, if that's not too weird a sentence, but also with university staff at her university that weren't in the library and IT bracket. They were maybe working embedded in a department, but in research data offices, or with colleagues who are members of other professional bodies running similar schemes, such as the Association for Learning Technology, which has got similar certification requirements. So what she's done there is built her professional network, developed herself, and really sort of been diving into the professional community and building connections. The key to success here is communication. So what can CILIP offer you to try and help you achieve some of these things? Well, one of the roles that we have is to talk to employers across the whole profession. So academic libraries, health libraries, corporate information services. Find out what the common ground between you all is and bring people together to share knowledge, develop a vibrant workforce with transferable skills. Our brand spanking new employer partner package was launched last year to help enable employers to do this better, supporting increased job satisfaction for the workforce, better awareness of developments in the sector, more engaged staff through networking and sharing knowledge, service development and improvement through networking and sharing knowledge, learning from other people's mistakes, improved skills, and a motivated team. There are some other benefits associated with that, which I can go into later if anyone is interested. So one of the ways that we promote this, one of the ways that we encourage the development of a community of practice amongst leaders in the sector is through our annual employer forum. It brings together leaders from across the library and information sector to discuss issues, experiences, ideas, looking at things like skills development. Because often you'll find that the burning issue in academic libraries is much the same as the burning issue in corporate information services. There's just two different takes on it. And it's really powerful to see people come together and share their experiences. So it's not just about us or our speakers telling you how they've solved their problems. It's about listening to each other, seeing what's worked, and learning from what hasn't. It's really great for bringing a sense of being part of a wider community of information professionals and to see the impact of the work that library and information professionals do across the board. One of the other things we've got, which hopefully many of you will be familiar with, are our member networks. You might have an existing professional network through work and LinkedIn, but CILIP has ready-made networks waiting for you throughout the UK. Member networks run activities, events, seminars, training, webinars, networking, and give lots of opportunities for professional development and meeting like-minded people, sharing information and ideas. So very briefly, we have got 22 special interest groups, 9 regional member networks, and of course 3 devolved nations, offering specialist support either regionally, depending on their location, or they're a special interest group, and they could be grouped around a sector, such as the Academic and Research Libraries Group, the Health Libraries Group, or a skill set or concern, such as the Information Literacy Group. And it's all about bringing together professionals with those same interests, same concerns, and seeing what we can learn from each other. My top tips for collaboration. How to collaborate effectively with other people you work with, people you've only just met. The ideal is always to create a win-win situation for both of you. So identify your key contacts, think about what you're hoping to get out of the collaborative process, but also what the benefits to them might be before you approach them. And dive in, you've got nothing to lose. Make sure if you're looking at broad collaboration, you're thinking about representation and covering diverse viewpoints. You don't want to create an echo chamber, ask someone for advice who's done exactly the same you think you've done, and they go, oh, it didn't work for me, and did it work for you? No, you're not learning anything new there. You need someone from the other side of that fence. If you can set a framework and goals beforehand, please do so. It's good to know what you want to achieve when you set out and think about how you're going to get there. Is there something you can use? Is there a framework that already exists you can use as a starting point? Pinch that. That's a great idea. Use professional facilitators. If you've got someone in your organisation whose job it is to help you build networks, ask them. Or come to CILIP. We have staff whose job it is to build relationships with employers, with individuals in the sector. No, it's their job, they're good at it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. No conversation is wasted. even if it's not quite what you thought, it doesn't go in quite the way you thought it was going to, that doesn't mean you failed. It just means you learnt something unexpected. And try not to lose momentum when you're doing a collaborative project. It is tough to get agreement on outcomes, on processes, on measurements, but you do get there in the end. And just a couple of things that CILIP has got to offer, which we hope are useful to the community, to the professional community. This is our professional knowledge and skills base. It's a wonderful wheel, which always comes up a bit small, and about how big the slides. What it does is identify the professional expertise and generic skills required for those working in the library, information and knowledge sectors. Represented in the wheel with our ethics and values at the very heart, for reasons which I hope I don't need to explain to people. The 8 areas of professional expertise and 4 generic skills set within the wider library information and knowledge sector context and the wider organisation and environmental context. What it is an online tool that you can rate yourself in each of these areas, what you're good at, what you're less good at, maybe help you identify your strengths if you're doing some career planning, and maybe some areas that you'd like to develop for your own CPD. You can use it to map it to roles you're interested in. You can plan your CPD using it, and it's also really handy for some people, using in their appraisals. If your manager is not library and information science literate, it's a very useful tool to use to explain that to them. We've got training, e-learning and online resources. Most of these are mapped to the skill sets within the PKSB, so you know which bits are going to help you develop in which areas, which is very handy. We've got an extensive virtual learning environment, which has got sections broken down by professional knowledge and skills-based headings. We've got bite-sized e-learning modules, which are new in 2019, although 2019 doesn't seem that new anymore. These mostly cover generic and soft skills, from communications to finance to corporate social responsibility and modern slavery and other things you may need to know. We've got the Impact Toolkit, which is practical guidance and advice for promoting yourself, your service, and proving your value, particularly to senior management teams, which we all know is something that everybody has to do and nobody enjoys doing. And finally, because I promised, a couple of things that CILIP is or has very recently been working on. In the end of December last year, our Trailblazer group successfully won approval for a level 3 apprenticeship for library and archive assistants. So that apprenticeship now exists, is ready to be used by employers. We go. We have developed a special branch of chartership for knowledge managers, which is a pathway for professional registration for those working in knowledge, information as an asset, raising the profile of information management and putting it on the board agenda, and our Great School Libraries campaign, which is hopefully self-explanatory. Thank you.